Tuesday, September 17th. I can't believe I'm actually writing this while hiding in the janitor's supply closet. I know it's super grungy in here and smells like an old, wet, mildewy mop, but I don't know where else to go. I absolutely hate this stupid school. Today at lunch, I was carrying my tray and trying to get to table 9 where I was supposed to meet Chloe and Zoe. Things were going pretty good because I had managed to sneak past a jock table without the football players making those embarrassing farting noises with their armpits. But as I was walking past Mackenzie's table, I really wasn't paying attention. She and Jessica must have still been pretty mad at me about the party invitation and the art competition, because this is what happened. I tripped and suddenly everything started moving in slow motion. My lunch tray went flying up over my head and I heard a very familiar voice shrieking, "No!" Then in horror, I realized it was mine. I fell flat on the floor and was so stunned I could barely breathe. My spaghetti and cherry jubilee dessert were smeared across my face and the front of my clothes. I looked like a life-size version of one of Brianna's messy finger paintings. I just closed my eyes and lay there like a beached whale with every inch of my body aching. Even my hair hurt. However, the worst part was that the entire cafeteria was laughing like crazy. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to die. I could barely see because I had cherry jubilee in my eyes and made everything look red and really blurry. Finally, I gathered the strength to crawl to my knees. But each time I tried to get up, I slipped in the mixture of spaghetti and milk and fell back down again. I have to admit, I probably looked hilarious sloshing around my lunch like that. And if it hadn't actually been happening to me, I definitely would have been laughing my butt off, along with everyone else. Then Mackenzie folded her arms, glared at me, and yelled, "So, Nikki, are you having a nice trip?" Of course, that witty little comment made everyone laugh even harder. It was the cruelest thing Mackenzie could have possibly said, especially since she was partially responsible for my trip. I was so humiliated I started to cry. The good news was the tears washed all the gunk out of my eyes and I could see again. But the bad news was, all I could see was this guy kneeling over me with a camera dangling in my face. And only one person in the whole entire school owns a camera like that. In a split second, I knew exactly what was going to appear on the front page of the next issue of our school newspaper. I was not going to be sending that article to any of my relatives. It is very clear to me that some way, somehow, Mackenzie had completely charmed Brandon with her awesome beautyliciousness and lured him over to the dark side, and then brainwashed him. How could my crush, the secret love of my life, do such a horrible and wicked thing to me? I felt like I had been stabbed in the heart with my favorite lucky ink pen, the hot pink sparkly one with the feathers, beads, and sequins on the end, and left to die, on the floor of the cafeteria with everyone watching and laughing, by my beloved Brandon. And the most bizarre thing happened. Brandon kind of smiled at me, slid his camera out of the way, grabbed my hand, and pulled me up off the floor. "You okay?" I tried to say yes, but my voice just made a gurgling sound like I was strangling or something. I swallowed and took a deep breath. "Sure, I'm okay. I had spaghetti for dinner yesterday, but it wasn't nearly this slippery." I cringed. I couldn't believe I just said that. I'm such a retard. Then I watched spellbound as Brandon handed me a napkin in what seemed like slow motion. I almost died right there on the spot when our fingers accidentally touched. Ever so slightly, like a gentle but wild squirrel slurping sweet nectar from one of those dainty purpley flowers in my mother's garden that my dad accidentally sprayed with weed killer. Our eyes locked, and for a split second, it was as if we were gazing into the deep, misty cavern of each other's wounded souls. I will forever remember the words he whispered into my trembling ear. I think you have something on your face." I blushed, and my knees started feeling all wobbly. Probably my lunch. Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, our very serious emo combo, which BTW means emotional conversation, was really interrupted by Mr. Snodgrass, our lunchroom monitor. Everyone calls him Mr. Snot, and a not-so-nice word. He started cleaning up the mess on the floor and lecturing me about my responsibility as a young adult to keep my food on my tray at all times. Brandon rolled his eyes at Mr. Snodgrass in a very chivalrous manner, and then he kind of smiled at me again. "I guess I'll see you in biology." "Yeah, okay, and thanks, for the napkin." "Hey, no prob. Actually, we have napkins just like this at home. My mom got them on sale at Walmart." "Oh, that's, cool." Well, later. Sure. See ya in bio. Then Brandon picked up his backpack and left the cafeteria. I just clutched a napkin over my heart and sighed. In spite of everything that had just happened, I suddenly felt very happy and butterfly-ish all over. But that feeling lasted only about 10 seconds because that's how long it took me to notice Mackenzie. She was so angry. Her whole face was all droopy and distorted. She actually looked a little scary. I hope you're not stupid enough to think he like a loser like you, she howled like a banshee. But I guess I was still kind of disoriented because I didn't have the slightest idea what she was talking about. He who? I asked. That's when Jessica blurted out, "You are such a klutz! OMG! Look at her! I think she peed her pants!" And then Mackenzie was like, "OMG, you're right! She did pee her pants!" And both of them started laughing and pointing at me again. I just rolled my eyes at them and said, "Yeah, right! I spilled milk on my pants! Don't you morons know milk when you see it?" Then I ran out of the cafeteria and went straight to the nearest girls' restroom. Inside, there were about 5 girls at the mirror, trying out one another's lip gloss flavors. They completely froze and just stared at me in horror with their mouths wide open. It was like they had never seen anyone covered from head to foot in spaghetti and cherry jubilee before. Some people are so rude. I kind of staggered back into the hallway like a zombie, but instead of leaving a trail of slimy, raw flesh, I left a trail of spaghetti, sauce, and cherry jubilee. Then I noticed the door of the janitor's utility closet near the drinking fountain was cracked open a little bit. I peeked inside, and since no one was in there, I snuck in and closed the door. I felt so horrible. That's when I burst into tears and started writing in my diary. Pretty soon I heard some vaguely familiar voices whispering and snickering outside the door. I just knew Mackenzie and her peeps were trying to track me down to harass me some more about peeing my pants. "Are you sure she's in there?" "I think so. The spaghetti leads right up to this door and stops. And look, cherry jubilee footprints. She has to be in there." I was like, just great. At that moment, I would have given anything to just disappear into thin air. And they actually had the nerve to knock on my door. Well, not exactly my door, but the door to the janitor's closet. I felt like the victim in one of those horror movies where the girl is home alone and hears a knock at the front door. And when she goes to open the door, everyone in the audience is yelling, "Don't open it! Don't open it!" But she opens the door anyway because she doesn't know she's in a horror movie. But I was not stupid. I knew I was trapped in a horror flick, so I didn't open the door to the janitor's closet. All of a sudden, it got really quiet, and I suspected it was a trick to make me think they had left. But I had a feeling in my gut they were still out there. "Nikki? Are you okay? We just heard what happened. Yeah, we wanted to make sure you were all right." That's when I finally recognized the voices. It was Chloe and Zoe. Zoe said, "Girl, don't make me bust this door down because you know I will do it." That kind of made me laugh because Zoe has trouble opening her locker and sometimes even her bottle of water. I was like, yeah, right. Then Chloe said, "If you're not going to come out and talk to us, we're coming in." The next thing I knew, Chloe and Zoe were poking their heads inside the janitor's closet and acting all goofy. Chloe was snorting and giving me jazz hands, and Zoe was sticking out her tongue and giving me the stink eye. They were like, "What's up, girlfriend?" For some reason, seeing them made me start crying all over again. Soon the 3 of us were just chilling out in the janitor's closet, talking about all the drama with Jessica and Mackenzie. But I left out the part about Brandon on purpose, because I was still kind of embarrassed about it. Plus, I was pretty sure he'd pick Mackenzie over me any day. If I were a guy, I sure would. I was so not getting my hopes up about Brandon actually liking me. Pretty soon, lunch period was almost over. Chloe and Zoe helped scrub most of the food stains off my clothes with paper towels and hand soap right at the big sink. There were still some stains we couldn't get off, though. I couldn't believe it when Zoe ran to her locker to get me her favorite lucky sweater to wear to cover them up. And Chloe said that if I applied an extra amount of her Candy Apple Swirl ultra shiny lip gloss along with her midnight blue eyeliner, everyone, especially the guys, would notice my beautiful luscious lips and dreamy eyes instead of the pea stain. Milk stain on the front of my pants. Which, lucky for me, was not that noticeable since it was starting to dry up. In spite of how bad things went at lunch, I definitely feel a lot better now. I guess maybe I don't hate the school quite as much anymore, but I bet Brandon thinks I'm a total klutz.